How's it going, everyone? Nick from Comic Culture here. Time for Nick at Night, my weekly comic book review show. Let's get into the books I read this week, starting over in Marvel. Got a bunch of Marvel books this week. Infinity Watch, issue number 1. So as we know, there's a lot of keepers of the Infinity Stones right now. They're a bunch of different random people, and they're getting together to kind of form their own little real world in a way. They got to make a house, they got to live together, they have competing egos and things like that. They're all cliche characterizations, I think, which really is annoying, to be honest. They don't know how to function as a team. As soon as the first threat comes around, they have no idea how to tackle that. And it's a first threat that completely demolishes them, as you would expect in some of these kinds of team Marvel books. So of course now we have to figure out how we're going to work as a team, how we're going to overcome these odds, and what do we do about the casualties we've already suffered at the hands of the very first villain we ever came across. Kind of disappointing, to be honest with you. Infinity Watch issue number 1, what'd you guys think? Next up from Marvel, we have Laura Kinney, Wolverine issue number 1. Erica Schultz is on this one, which is the reason why I picked it up, because she's on a lot of things on the Marvel side right now. So have to get a taste of her writing style and, her storytelling abilities and whatnot. So we've been dipping in here and seeing what's going on. And I will say that if you read the Psylocke issue that came out maybe a couple of weeks ago, this is the exact same story in a way. We have our female superhero. She's trying to figure out what to do. She's among friends and things like that. She's compelled to help some people, and she finds out that there's this kidnapping of these miners, and she has to go across the world to rescue them. It's the exact same story we just saw inside of Psylocke. Now, I will say the art is not as strong in this issue as it is in that one, but it is still fun to see, X-23 going around doing stuff, so that's pretty interesting. We also have a brilliant cover from J. Scott Campbell, so there's that if you're a cover grabber. But I will say from a story point of view, there's really nothing new going on here. Although the very end has got me a little bit excited because they're going to be crossing paths with another familiar Marvel female superhero, and I cannot wait to see what happens inside of that story right there. So Wolverine issue number 1, I would say it's the exact same thing as Psylocke, but it has a cool twist at the end, which has got me excited for issue number 2. Let me know if you read it. Uncanny X-Men issue number 7, Raid on Grey Malkin issue number 2. So this is your classic, we have an X-Men team, you have an X-Men team, we're going to clash because our objectives are not the same, right? We want to handle a situation one way, you want to handle it another way, and Cyclops is dumb. So we're going to have this big battle inside of our old school. That's what's happening inside of here. Some of our friends were kidnapped. It's a big breakout kind of an issue, and everybody's got little tricks up their sleeves, and of course, instead of fighting the villain and focusing on that, there's fighting amongst the ranks, which how many times are we going to see that? I have no idea. Art-wise, this book is pretty interesting. There's some really great pages inside of here, but then sometimes there's some, shortcuts here and there, which is kind of annoying, to be honest. But we got some really cool splash pages, so there's some interesting things going on in here, but it's just the same kinds of things we've been seeing in X-Men forever. This inner fighting amongst the teams and whatnot. And then of course we also have this villain team that has been put together with some of the new Hellhound technology or whatever. So we're going to be facing off against them. There's going to be a collaborative moment with the heroes here very soon, but I don't know, man. Uncanny X-Men issue number 7, it was fun and exciting, but there's nothing really new inside of it. What'd you guys think of it? 1 year in, Ultimate Universe issue number 1. Dennis Camp on this one, got the Frank Miller variant right there. I actually like this issue quite a bit. So this issue's perspective is really interesting because it's that of Nick Fury's, and he's on his big helicarrier, right? It's not S.H.I.E.L.D., it's called something else. I'll let you get into all of that. And it's kind of his last will and testimony in a way. He's got this letter that he sent out, or this recording that's kind of outlining all the evil things that he's done through his stay with this organization, and how he is being used by the Maker and his council to rule the world in a way. They have this technology that's not too far off from the plot of Civil War II that they use inside of here. So it's creating this guilty before proven innocent kind of a situation. And there's some really cool themes inside of here. Now, what this will amount to, or what the point of this was, at the very end, the twist at the end, still trying to figure that out. Why are they doing this? And you'll get to it if you read this issue. But art was really cool. It's a cool little psychological twist. So I did really enjoy going through this issue. Again, there's a big twist at the end that you don't see coming. And yeah, it definitely kept my interest, and it leads us into Ultimate Wolverine, which I'm really excited for. So for 1 year in, Ultimate Universe issue number 1, really cool read. Did you guys read it? Let me know if you did. All right, we got Blame Eric over at One Panel Grid, Phoenix issue number 6. Stephanie Phillips on this one, and I'm really kind of digging what's going on inside of Phoenix, although I think that like Space Ghost is a better version of this kind of a story, this like presence in the cosmos that's going around saving a bunch of people and having to deal with the consequences of that. With that said, we're in the Marvel Universe, and we got some cool stuff going on. We got Thanos now in the mix right now with some pretty interesting artifacts on his chest. He's able to do something that I don't remember how he's able to do it or where he got it from or anything like that, but he's definitely using this new power to his advantage, twisting the minds of Jean Grey's friends to attack her. So she's got to put together this team to try to take him out because his power is insane, right? So we got to take care of that as soon as possible. So we got a pretty interesting team coming together at the end of this, trying to stop Thanos before he gets out of control. So some pretty cool stuff happening in here. Interior art is nice and sharp. Bright, vibrant colors. Really digging that. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Phoenix, we are on issue number 6. Not a bad read so far. Let me know if you're reading it down below. Let's go over to DC now with Batman Dark Patterns issue number 1. Man, what a great book this was. Dan Waters on the writing. We have Hayden Sherman on the art. Spectacularly done. This gives me so many like mixed vibes from all these different properties. We got some of that year 1 stuff. Frank Miller, Mazzucchelli on that. We have some classic like Tim Burton's Batman stuff. It's kind of interesting to think about where this story takes place because you get to see all these advancements in like the Batcave, in Batman's abilities in himself, right? Like his suit, his relationship with Lieutenant Gordon. So we get some hints, right, as to like when this takes place. But like, man, this book is so interesting because it feels so much like a year 1 kind of a book. It's definitely got that artistic vibe and like that detective vibe as well. So we got like Lieutenant Gordon and Batman. They're investigating some crazy murders right now. We got some eccentric like coroner scientist kind of a dude that Jim brought in to help out. We got Batman trying to like predict who the next victim is going to be. A lot of interesting detective stuff going on. Amazing shots like this of these cityscapes in here. Holy crap, that is beautiful. It took me a minute to get off that page because it was such a treat to see that inside of here. So if you're into Batman books, if you want that old nostalgic vibe, if you like the detective stories and you like year 1, I think you're really going to like this. Really cool villain inside of here too, which I believe is brand new. Definitely check out Batman Dark Patterns if you haven't yet. Going over to Dynamite Comics, we have Space Ghost issue number 8 right here. Holy crap, we have Metalis coming in, and he is completely wrecking shop in here. We get a cool glimpse of Space Ghost's past when he was like in his more human form, pre-Space Ghost, his wife, his kids, what happened to them, what kind of an army came through and like wrecked shop, which kind of led him on this entire path. We have this inside of here, and Space Ghost is like unhinged at this moment, trying to like get back, have revenge on this guy who took everything from him. Really raw, tons of emotion inside this book, brilliant artwork as well, what we've come to expect from Space Ghost from David. So Space Ghost continues to deliver issue after issue after issue. Definitely one of the best books of 2024. Make sure you're checking out Space Ghost if you haven't yet. Let's go over to Image now. We have Kaya issue number 23. Wes Craig on this one. They're on their way to like a ghost town or whatever it is, some kind of haunted town on the run from the evil robots at this moment. And we're trying to figure out like, what's the next step now? How can we hide from this force that's coming our way? Of course, they were warned not to go into this town, at least Kaya was, through some premonition or dream or something like that. And so now they're having to deal with like the repercussions of doing that. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. These monsters, half ghosts, half monsters kind of things are popping up, trying to take them out. They're having to deal with the robots at the same time. I will say like the most frustrating thing about this book is it reads so quickly. Man, the trade read is going to be so great. If you haven't read the series yet, highly recommend doing it that way because you can't get enough Kaya issue to issue. And just as you start getting into it, it's over before you know it, man. It's such a good read. Make sure to check this one out if you haven't yet. Then last on the read list this week was Transformers issue number 15. Another solid issue. I'll get into like my one gripe here in just a little bit, but this issue is really cool because we get to see the Decepticons wrecking shop throughout America right now. They are going around, they are wiping everybody out. They're trying to draw out, Optimus and all of his people, all the Autobots, right? They're trying to draw them out right now because they're in hiding and they're trying to like lick their wounds. They're trying to gain enough energy to resurrect some of their fallen friends and everything like that. So there's a lot of things happening in this book, and it's all drawn brilliantly, and all the characterizations are great and everything. There's a lot of great moments in here, a lot of shocking moments for sure. Some of the Decepticons are even fighting each other. There's like a power struggle going on within their ranks. They're trying to figure all that out still at this point. I will say that like if you didn't know a lot about Transformers going into this run, you might not still be none the wiser by the issue number 15 about like who a lot of these characters are. There's a lot of character reveals in this thing, and like everybody's excited, but me as the reader is going like, man, I just don't know. I wish I had that excitement. I take it at face value. I think it looks cool. It looks great. I'm excited to see the next issue, but like I feel like I'm just losing a little bit of that excitement every single time they bring somebody new in or they announce something. So like that's hurting me, but I know plenty of you guys out there are long-term Transformers fan and you are eating this up. So I will say that it's not super new reader friendly, but you're gonna have a blast reading it because it's drawn so well. A lot of great human moments in here, a lot of emotion. So definitely check out Transformers if you haven't yet. All right, guys, that's all I got this week. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know down below what you read and what your favorite books of the week were. While you're down there, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification to be alerted whenever I put out new videos. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the comments.